Alright, so I'm going to talk about two main things in TERA today. The first is going to be the new user experience along with the world, the lore, kind of a little bit of the history, kind of introduce you to that. And the second will be kind of what Chris touched on, the innovative combat system that's really going to define TERA and set it apart from any other MMO out there. So you can see right away, we have 6 playable races. And each of these races make up what we're calling the Valkian Federation. And the Valkian Federation was formed years back to repel back this evil called the Argons. And the Argons kind of appeared, and each race tried to individually deal with it, but they realized they couldn't. So the human race actually kind of bonded everybody together into this federation, and we're successful in doing so. So we're kind of at a time of peace and prosperity and unity in the world, which is, you know, a little bit unique, I think, compared to most MMOs. Things are working, people are happy, the Federation, you know, everybody kind of pitches in and does their thing. So we have the humans, the Castonic, they're kind of the at any cost race, you know, you give them something to do and they'll make sure it gets done, you just don't ask how. The Amon, they're kind of the honor-bound race. The mischievous Topori, the wise, stoic Baraka, they're almost like the librarians of the world. They actually don't even have a male or female, they're just the Baraka. And then the High Elves. The High Elves were the last to join the Federation. They were kind of thinking they could really do it on their own. They're a little bit, you know, arrogant, a little bit proud. So I'm going to create a human and go into our classes. So we have 8 playable classes. The Warrior, the Lancer, the Slayer, and the Berserker are all melee classes, so they're within close range of the player. And then the Sorcerer, Archer, Priest, and Mystic are all our ranged classes. They'll control almost like an FPS in terms of where you aim and where you shoot. So I'm going to create a Mystic. So you'll notice we have a bunch of different faces, colors, we have some different hairstyles here, makeups. This is going to keep getting improved upon. This is our 3rd closed beta test that just ended in Korea. The system is infinitely expandable, we just need to keep adding to it. So you're going to see more and more coming from it. So recently a mysterious island has appeared between the 2 main continents of the world. And players are being dispatched to investigate. So this, you know, they're basically going to go there and help the Federation in any way possible. You'll notice I picked up a controller. The game is being developed both for keyboard and mouse and controller support. Right away you can tell I don't have the traditional mouse cursor, I actually have a targeting reticle. And you'll notice that, you know, where I aim is, you know, where I go. So just welcoming to the island. So the thing about the, you know, the developers' kind of mantra is they want all the action to be focused in the middle of the screen. And so you'll notice that you know, the UI is pretty light. Most of the time you're having to pay attention to the middle of the screen instead of the other sides, and that'll be even more apparent in combat. And although we are action MMO, we do have the underpinnings of a AAA MMO in all the other regards. So you'll notice you have all your different stats, your resistances, your gathering, your crafting, all the items, the gear, all that kind of good stuff. But things you might notice are missing are dodge and parry. And dodge and parry are things that we've transferred back to the action side of things. So players will have to physically roll out of the way instead of roll a dice. Alright. So you'll notice right away I've got this little meter countdown. So as I get closer in, it's going to change. I missed it. So you saw how he was winding up like that. You really have to get out of the way in order to... Yeah, there we go. And I'm a support class, so I'm actually able to throw down some healing potions here. So I'm going to log in a warrior here and show you some of the melee combat. So generally I use the controller for combat, and then I switch over to the keyboard and mouse for tooling around in town, doing community functions, chatting, working with, you know, crafting, all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty seamless experience going back and forth between the two. We're kind of in the prototyping stage for the controller right now. You know, we basically have gotten it to work and realized how natural and how well it, you know, I mean, it's like any action RPG you've played in terms of the control scheme. It's very familiar, which was really surprising, I think, to a lot of you know, players as well as us in the company. Anyone that's played a console game can probably pick up the controller and know what to do out there, which is a really cool thing for an MMO, because that's not an easy thing to accomplish. So you have a lot of pack monsters in the game. You'll notice there's this big guy and then all these little guys, and I can kind of throw them all about. So I'm gonna stun this guy, and then I've got this very powerful attack, but it's also a very linear attack. So if I don't take the time to stun that guy, there's a good chance that he'll dodge and jump out of the way. So the cool thing about adding action to an MMO is that you add a skill differentiator where users that normally couldn't do something might be able to accomplish it. So you might be able to see a level 12 kill a level 15 in TERA, whereas in traditional MMO it just would not be possible due to gear and stats. So with a single player, I have a lot of different tactics, but most of it involves getting out of the way with this guy and, you know, getting behind him and whacking on him. But with a party, it's going to change quite a bit. So parties actually have the ability, there's collision in the game, so I can't run through this guy. So if I'm a shield class, I can plant my shield on the ground and keep this guy from actually getting at the sorcerers, getting at the priests. So it's really going to add another level of tactics to the game that you haven't necessarily seen in another MMO. You'll be able to teleport between these little hubs, as well as ride a Pegasus for longer travel. It's a seamless world. It uses the Unreal 3 engine. We have a looking for group system right here that you can kind of go into and, you know, find other parties doing the same quest as yourself. The next area is going to be kind of it's kind of a humorous area. It's actually kind of a Halloween theme. When we first got here in our progression with the writing team, we were trying to figure out, you know, what was the development intent here? You know, we've got the translation, but you lose so much in translation. So we started talking to developers, and the area is really meant to be kind of a humorous outlet. You're supposed to kind of, you know, make your cultural jokes, make your, you know, have fun with it, right? So our writers are kind of excited to get here. We have about 10 writers on our staff right now, and all of them are published either in games or fantasy fiction or, you know, D&D, you name it, our writers have done it. We've really taken a new approach to translation, and we're taking collaboration to a new level as well. So our lead writer actually just got back from Korea, where he's helping implement a lot of our Western story ideas back into the Korean text. So this is an outdoor dungeon. We'll also have instance dungeons as well. Really the main focus of this game is a lot of PvE. You know, we feel that, you know, we have enough of the PvP to satiate the PvP users, but the PvE is really what users have been looking for lately. So we have lots of instances, lots of world areas. We have the consensual PvP in Battlegrounds and consensual PvP for dueling. And then we're also going to split servers for PvP, PvE for world PvP. Really give users the choice of where they want to be. So this is one of the large towns. This is where you'll do your crafting, your banking, your brokering, your guild management, your guild housing, all the things that, you know, for a community, this is kind of like the epicenter of all of that. It's also where we're kind of teasing our big in-game system called the political system, and we're not saying much more than we have a political system, but that's really will be the center of all that will take place here. And that really ties into what we're saying. It's like we're all action and no faction, and the no faction really means the players will choose their own alliances. They're not going to be forced to, you know, group with a player just because they're on their side. They're going to be able to choose who they like, who they don't like, who they're going to hang out with, who they're not going to hang out with. You know, so on the PvP servers, that'll manifest itself, you know, either through different types of guild wars or perhaps even on the PvE servers through the political system. So.